What's going on, fellow Daft Punk fans? Today I am doing a Q&A. I posted on Twitter just asking for questions for a YouTube Q&A, and I have like 15 here, and so I'm just gonna answer them. So here we go. First question from Daft Legends. What was your very first item in your collection? What made you decide to become a collector? I guess these kind of go hand in hand. So the first item I ever got, I suppose I should go grab something if I'm talking about it. I'll be right back. Okay, so the first item I ever got was this specific CD, Random Access Memories. I got it in 2014 when I got my new car, which had a CD player. My first car did not have a CD player. So I got a new car with a CD player, and I'd been a fan of this record for about a year because it had been about a year since it had been released. And so this is the first Daft Punk item I ever got in my collection. So that was fun, and what made me decide to start becoming a collector was actually watching a lot of Daft Legends videos about its collection. And so I just had this one CD, and I'm like, I want the other CDs, you know? As a lot of fans for any group does. And so I just started primarily collecting CDs, and that grew into vinyl, and now I'm doing a lot of DVDs and all kind of different media and knickknacks, as you've seen in my collection updates. But that's the first question. Second question. What is your favorite Daft Punk item? I'll have to think about this one for a sec, but I'll think of it. All right, so I've thought about it, and actually I think what my favorite item is my signed poster from their pop-up shop in 2017. I'm not sure how well you can see it because I'm using my front-facing camera, but that signed poster has got to be my favorite item. Next question. What are your thoughts on sampling? Do you feel that it can be seen as lazy for artists to sample? How would you compare the sampling of Daft Punk to the sampling of popular hip-hop/rap artists? This is by Sam I Am Squatch, and the previous question was by Daft Tracks. So, sampling. Can it be seen as lazy for artists to sample? It can be if you do it bad. Like, I can't think of any examples right now, but a good sampler knows how to make something its own to make it unique. And I think Daft Punk and Todd Edwards are really good examples of that. How would I compare it to the sampling of Daft Punk to the sampling of popular hip hop artists? I don't know. I don't know too much about hip hop, if I'm being honest. I don't really have a valid opinion on that because I don't know much about hip hop, so I'll have to pass on that part. Next question. So this is from Faraway Truths, and they say, which Daft Punk item took the longest to find / was the hardest to obtain for your collection? I'm gonna have to think about this one as well. Okay, so I couldn't think of a single thing. I have 4 things here that took me a while to find. The first thing I want to show off is this. It's kind of hard to get on camera because of the glare, but it is a Daft Punk little trading card type thing, and there are 6 of these that came with very limited amounts of these first press Japanese CDs. There's a Stella, Octave, Arpeggius, Barrel, Thomas, and Guy-Man. Those are the 6 cards. And on the other side of the card is a 1/6 I want to say quadrant, but a quadrant is 4 parts. 6 of these cards make up the Discovery logo on the backs of these. I think I have some pictures I can put in here. I'm not that good with editing, but I think I can figure that out. Anyways, there's only 3 that come with a single CD. And I had to buy, I have 5 of these now. So it took me many tries to get all 6 of them. So yeah, that was probably one of the hardest ones to actually seek out and find. The others are more or less just about price, because I've seen them for sale for a while. This is a Weewa slipcase for Random Access Memories. The only thing that had been preventing me from getting this for a long time was the price. They usually go for a lot. This is a Daft Club Net Songs promotional CD for Mexico radio stations, and it's believed to be one of 50. So this is a pretty rare pickup, which I knew about for a while and I wanted for a while because they're on the cover and I love this picture of them. And when I finally was able to purchase one, it was very satisfying. And fourth is a 7-inch Digital Love. So there's only 200 of these. Yeah, 200. And this is like the only 7-inch record of theirs that has like the album or single art on the cover that I know of. But I'm pretty sure it's the only one because I know of basically everything. So that one I had seen for sale, and again, it's just like the Daft Club Net Songs. It's always been expensive, and I've always known about it. But eventually I just pulled the trigger after like getting my tax returns, and I just decided to splurge a bit. But anyways, those are the 4 items that were the longest to find or hardest to obtain. Okay, next question from the producer Sam. They ask, Guy-Man or Thomas? And that's it. So, I mean, there's a lot of different comparisons you can make, but in general, I'm a Guy-Man type of guy. I am definitely more on the quiet side. I just love his demeanor in interviews where he doesn't really talk much, but when he does talk, it's something like extremely profound and well thought out. That's kind of who I am. Thomas, he's a, kind of the face or the voice of the group, and that's not me. I'm very quiet, so I don't know. I appreciate Guy-Man because of that. All right, next question. What inspires you the most about Daft Punk? From Robert37, or if you know him by his other account, House of Daft Punk, one of my oldest Daft Punk mutuals. What inspires me the most about Daft Punk? Probably their unwillingness to budge to anybody's demands. They just won't do something because someone asks them to do it. They will only do something if they want to do it. They have integrity, And that's something I wish more artists would have. Next question. Favorite/least favorite item of merch? This is from Britavicious. I've never actually tried to pronounce that name before. I've seen it a million times, but okay. Favorite/least favorite item of merch. I'm assuming that they mean item of merch that I own. So I'm going to go off of that. Favorite item of merch. I just remembered that I already answered this question. It is my signed poster right over there. So that is my favorite piece of merch. And my least favorite piece of merch. I'm going to show you guys something that I think only told like one person. And you'll understand why when I show you. All right, so this is the Off-White Darlin collaboration that they did for the pop-up shop in 2017. However, I got these for dirt cheap, and I'm like 99% sure they're fake, even though they're done so well. but just purely on the basis that it was one of the times that I had bought something thinking that it was real, naively, and ended up getting something that is probably fake. It's probably why it's my least favorite piece of merch, and I've never showed it or told anyone except for like one person. So yeah, these are probably my least favorite items that I own, for that reason. But I want to think of something that's not fake that I don't like. Give me a sec. Okay, so I took like 5 seconds to look up at my shelf, and then I realized, oh, of course, everyone's least favorite piece of merch is the freaking snow globes. The snow globes that after not even like a year just started getting like these huge bubbles on them. So yeah, I think when these came out, I did like a review of them, and I got some good shots of them when they were in good condition. But now, that's just gross. And I actually own 2 pairs of these. And why do I? Oh, because when Sandbag was in charge of Daft Punk's merch, they made some huge mistake, and they sent me a duplicate of everything I ordered for that order. So that was interesting. I bet the other ones are horribly messed up too, even though they've been in their box for years. But yeah, these are my least favorite because they just ended up looking gross. Next question from Monster Mayo. What is the best item you've gotten for dirt cheap / free? This is another thinker. I gotta think about it for a sec. All right, I got a good answer for this one. The best thing that I've ever got for dirt cheap was the denim jacket from their pop-up shop, which was eventually also sold on their website. I think you can still buy them. They originally sold for $650, but I got mine for $280. And I remember the eBay listing was like, I have too much stuff. And that was the reason for selling it for so cheap. And I was like, okay, if you say so. And I think they sent me a sticker for free too, along with it. No, they didn't send me a stick. What did they send me? They sent me a patch. Let me find the patch. I got it for free with this. Let me show you. All right. This is the patch that they sent me for free. And this is one of the patches that they were selling at the pop-up shop. And I actually have no idea how much they were selling the patches for. So I don't know how much it's worth, but I got it for free. So it's like, I'm not gonna complain. So those were my favorite things that I got for dirt cheap / free. All right, next question from Daft Punky Trash 1. How did you discover Daft Punk for the first time? There's kind of 2 times where I discovered them for the first time. So the first time I ever heard and remember hearing Daft Punk was probably mid 2000s, like 2005-ish, because I feel like I was around 8, which is when I would have been, which would have been 2005. Anyways, I was at my neighbor's house, and he loved Daft Punk. And the first time I ever heard him listening to Daft Punk was when we were on his driveway, skating down a ramp on his driveway. I don't skate, which is weird that I have that memory. Anyways, that was the first time I ever remember hearing it. It was Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. I remember hearing it, and I was like, that's interesting. But I was like 8, and he was like 10, so I guess he was a little more refined than I was musically. But anyways, that was the first time I ever discovered them. But when I became a fan was in 2013 when Get Lucky was released. I remember it was my sophomore year, towards the end of the year, because that's when Get Lucky was released. And my sister would pick me up from school. And on the way home, which was only like a 10-minute drive, almost every day we'd hear Get Lucky on the radio when we were driving home. And I was like, I like this. So I just looked up their other stuff on YouTube, and that's how I became a fan. So that's that answer. Same person, Daft Punky Trash 1, asks, do you think Daft Punk will come back this year? No, I don't think they'll come back this year. I don't think this is a good year to put stuff out, or maybe I'm completely mistaking the conditions of the music industry right now, but I feel like now isn't the best time to put out music. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Not that they care too much about what the industry thinks, but I think that they'd like to release it in better times. I don't know. It's a toss-up with Daft Punk. I hope they come back this year. Next question from Evil Within Them. Do you wish Daft Punk would go back to making remixes? It's an interesting question. I mean, if they released some remixes, I wouldn't be mad. Like, if they were like, hey, here's a, I don't know, insert artist here remix. I wouldn't be like, Daft Punk doing remixes? What is this? I'd be like, awesome, new Daft Punk content, even if it was just a remix. Do I wish that they would go back to making remixes? Not really. I mean, I'd rather have a Daft Punk track than a Daft Punk remix. Yeah. Octotalia asks, favorite song and why? My favorite song is Touch, and why, hold on, got a notification. Why? I mean, it's just such an ethereal song. Like, you can't put it into words. It's Touch. I mean, come on. You listen to it and you transcend. It's an out-of-body experience. At least when you're listening to it on the right speakers. Choi King asks, the most random item you got about Daft Punk, and if there's any of them, whom was the hardest to get? I've already answered the hardest things that I've gotten in my collection. The most random item, though? All right. After thinking about it for a bit, I think that this is my most random item that I own. It is a, what is it called? I forget the terminology, but this is like a test print for like an ad, which I believe makes this like a one-of-a-kind type thing. So very random, but yeah, I think this is my most random thing. Tatsuya, okay, I'm not even gonna. Gabriel Tatsuya asks, is Daft Punk touring? I don't know if this is a sick joke, but no, they're not touring. Lek 4070264 asks, what's your least favorite Daft Punk song? Okay, I'm gonna get some hate for this, but I have a very valid reasoning, and I've thought about this before. Rock and Roll is my least favorite Daft Punk song. And I know that there's people out there that are like, oh, you don't like rock and roll, but you like rolling and scratching. And it's like, yeah, I do, because rolling and scratching is good and rock and roll isn't. And it's like, I just don't know how else to put it. I'm sorry. All right. And finally, the same person asks, what's your favorite artist/band aside from Daft Punk? This is an interesting one. I have two bands that I consider like my second favorite, and they kind of trade spots depending on who's a little bit more active at the time, I guess. But the two bands are Foster the People and 21 Pilots. The first album I ever bought was a Foster the People album called Torches in 2011. That was like my middle school jam. I love that so much. Torches is such a classic album. Very electronic too, so if you like Daft Punk, go listen to Torches by Foster the People. It's a great album. And 21 Pilots, same thing. Very electronic, and I don't know. They're just very unique. Yeah, 21 Pilots, Foster the People. Those are my two other favorite artists other than Daft Punk. If you don't listen to them, I suggest you do, because they have good stuff. And that is all I have. Let me just update really quick and see if I haven't gotten any more questions. Nope, no more questions. That is it. If you have any questions about the things that I talked about in this video, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll try and answer them. But I've noticed I stopped getting notifications from YouTube regarding comments. So sometimes I'll go check out my videos that I posted a week or two ago, and I'll find that there's like a bunch of comments that I didn't get notifications for. So like, I'm sorry if I don't respond right away, but I'll try and respond. So yeah, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.